What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers, along with the subscribers of Ashton Griffith here to get back with Ashton. He has kind of shifted to Twitter, so I'm sure a lot of you probably know him from that space now as well. But what up, everybody? How you guys doing? You got your Raj in here, Edward Chan, Demar, Duran, Osman. As more people pop in, guys, definitely hit that like button, share it out with everybody else. Ash, how you doing, man? And before we get into the Giants talk, plug yourself a little bit. Are you gonna be found mostly on Twitter now? What's up with it?
Yo, first I want to say thank you for having me on. To answer your question, not really. I still do like my YouTube stuff. I went away like on vacation for like 2 weeks, so that's why if anybody like follows me on my channel.
This man chose like the worst time to go, bro. Like so many things happened in those 2 weeks.
I missed all the trades, all the free agency stuff. But yeah, that's why I kind of been like silent. But usually I get into some spaces with some other people that I'm like real good friends with. Shout out to them and this little group that we got. And it kind of, because I used to do a podcast and I'm like, I might as well just do, instead of just doing it by myself, I might as well just do some of it on Twitter. Today was like the first time I did that. And I didn't even like mean to do it as an episode of my podcast. I just did it like as a regular little space, and that like blew up. Like so many people came in there, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe this could be, something I continue to do. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can check me out. It's literally my name as you see it, followed by underscore at the end. And we'll usually do those things. I do it based off like my schedule, like school and everything. So, but
nah, it's all good. It was a pretty good episode today, man. Yeah, a lot of people were in there. I'm not sure where it peaked at, but when me and Fisk were in there, it was somewhere around like 43, I want to say. So it was definitely good. I mean, Twitter Spaces have blown up in general since it became a thing like a couple months ago. It's just, I guess, easier for people to interact with each other on Twitter Spaces.
And I heard they're making like an actual, to anybody that is interested in doing like podcasting.
Yeah, they're making an actual like podcast section, I think.
Yeah. So that's
when
like
that,
one of the other reasons.
Yeah, when that drops, I'm gonna try and do a simulcast, basically, because you could do simultaneous streaming to various streaming apps, whether it's StreamYard or Streamlabs. As soon as that happens, I'm actually gonna do it because I never really wanted to do it for Twitch. I don't have a following on Twitch. Not that I have a big following on Twitter either, but it's better than what I got on Twitch, so I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Yeah.
The shout out to Hirsch as well in here, man. You're Raj, how you doing? Go ahead, you about to say something.
Oh no, I was just saying like to anybody who's interested in doing that stuff, like definitely check it out because I watch a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't know if anybody, this is more of a outside of sports thing, but if anybody listens to like Rory and Maul, the Mallory Bros, stuff like that, I listen to like podcasts like that, and they're interested in doing, hopping over to Twitter or doing like special editions of their podcast on Twitter and stuff. So it's definitely something that looks like to be big. I'm gonna kind of hop on that train a little bit too.
Yeah, man, for sure. And then of course, getting to the actual content of today's stream, you guys see the man himself. It was his pro day today, Malik Willis. Yesterday was Kenny Pickett's pro day. Giants coach, quarterbacks coach Shea Tierney was in attendance at both. Now, I don't necessarily think that this means anything. I kind of think they're doing it to trade back. Of course, we shall see. I could be completely wrong. I've been a fan of Malik, I want to say, for maybe a month or two now, since I was really just like, this guy is the best quarterback in the class. I wouldn't be opposed if the Giants draft him. I just think it's smarter if we just wait until next year. And that's definitely going to be a main topic of tonight's stream before I drop the link into the chat. And I guess it's just general draft talk, because even if we don't draft him, I feel like the fifth and 7th pick should be hot commodities for teams that do want to draft a quarterback right now. So let's start with that, man.
again, shout out to Mike C. He on Twitter. He was in the space earlier, and he brought up something really interesting. He was saying like that a lot of people they're into this narrative that we might be using it to trade back, but people forget that Shane actually sent scouts for Malik Willis back in Buffalo, like during the season. Not that that really means anything, just a certain like scenario of let's say I know a lot of majority, or really the fan base is kind of split from what I'm
Yeah,
seeing.
it's I would say
But
it's
like,
split. I wouldn't say it's majority either way. It almost seems 50-50 to be honest with you.
let's just say half of the fan base don't really want to hear that. But let's just say if Shane wanted him, and he doesn't want a team to trade up ahead of him, that could be a tactic of I'm just going to send my quarterback coach to go and make it seem like we're just seeing if we could trade back or something like that. So if he does fall, they can feel like they're gonna Willis is gonna pass through 5 and 7 because we don't want him, and then he'll be ours for the taking. And also, I could see that you know they're doing that they're sending Terry out to do some work to see if this dude is getting a lot of hype, to see if we trade back, because of course if there's a trade offer like Pittsburgh, who really sent the whole house
Yeah,
to watch
Pittsburgh
Malik
and
Willis today.
Ash. I don't know how many of the Just Chill episodes you've been able to tune into, but I've been saying for a minute now that Pittsburgh is the team that should take him. I feel like he'd slide right in
Oh
there
yeah,
and be a
yeah.
great quarterback for them.
The question is, it's like how committed are they to him, and are they really committed to give up the house because they're trading from 20 if
If
that's what they want to
Oh,
do.
I thought they were at
You
15.
know,
They're at 20.
yeah, well, yeah, I think so because they
They're
made
at
the
20.
playoffs.
Hold up. Oh yeah, you're right. They did. If they
Yeah, they
are at
made the
20,
playoffs.
that's a bigger drop from 5 to 20 or from 7. I'm gonna say 5 because I feel like if you're trading up for a QB, like if I'm Pittsburgh and I'm really in love with this quarterback, I think he is my future. I'm trading up to like the higher pick rather than the lower
Or
one,
no,
right?
you gotta trade up ahead of Carolina.
Exactly. So 5 to 20 is a bigger drop than from like what was it, 11 to 20 last year when with the Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bro, what would you want if they're calling me? I don't know. Is it too much for me to ask for
You
like 2 to 3 first round picks?
No, you would have to give us at least 3 first-round picks, and
Right?
I'm not
That's what
even
I'm
trying
saying.
to sound greedy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to sound greedy. Like San Francisco gave up two picks to go from 12 to 3, or I think was it 2, or I think it was 2.
It was
They
like
gave
2
up.
to 3. That's what I'm saying, bro. We need
They
like
got
3.
2 extra. They
That's
got a
a
pick
that's a
swap, and they got 2
15
extra.
pick drop, man.
So you're going to have to give up the house. Like, even think about what there's another trade. It's slipping my mind, but the San Francisco one is like the one that a lot of people talk about because it's the most recent one, and it's the one that like they traded up for a quarterback. Like, don't even talk about what like in that 2015 draft, I believe, when Carson Wentz and the Rams were like both of
2016.
those
Yeah,
teams
yeah, 2016. Both of them traded
had to
up, right?
trade up, right? And I forgot what it was, but they weren't like in the top 10. Like I think they were outside of the top 10, I believe. Like when they traded up, but
Mhm.
yeah, you're gonna have to trade with Pittsburgh. They're gonna have to give us at least anything less than 3 first-round picks they rob us. It's a robbery.
Now I'm
Anything less
with
than
you
three
right there,
first-round
man.
picks is a robbery.
Not only because it's a quarterback, even if it wasn't a quarterback, I would probably still ask for 3 first round picks because the first round, there's a lot of talented players in this draft, and missing 15 spots, man. Like I know we still have 7, but you're still going out 15 spots. That's 15 quality
Exactly.
players that you're not getting a chance to pick right there.
Exactly. That's like just talk about all the players on their board that they're doing. Like, even though I don't think Kayvon be their Cave, just some names:
Would you?
Kayvon,
I'm gonna throw something out
Hamilton,
here, right? Because
Sauce. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw something out here because we know the Giants are interested in a couple players. One of them is a guy in Trevor Penning that is like going around the 20 area. Like, do you
hmm
think that would be somebody if they trade down to Pittsburgh they take? I mean, I don't know how I'd feel about that, right? Especially because, we'll get into Charles Cross in a second, but can we agree that Charles Cross is better than Trevor Penning?
Oh yes, yes,
I don't
yeah,
know how to feel
definitely.
if we trade down to take Cross. It would obviously all depend on the trade package, like we were just talking about, right? It would all depend on that because that's a player I could see them taking at 20. Hopefully, I pray to God one of those like linebackers are there. I would definitely take one of the linebackers
Yeah.
at 20, but I don't know the reality of that. Like I'm trying to think who would be there around that spot.
Oh, one of the linebackers are definitely going to be there because like you had the emergence of all these edges. Like I think there's a world where all five of the edges, including Walker, like so six.
Even
Oh
Ojabo, even
no,
though he's on the
no,
Achilles
Ajay,
tear.
I forgot. I
Yeah.
forgot he got injured. So all five, excluding Ajabo, subbing in Trayvon Walker, I think all five of them go in the top 20. To be honest.
What teams do you see taking
So
them? Because that's top 20. I would have said like top 30 or something. So let me hear what teams in the top
well,
20
for
would be taking
one,
them.
Let's just call out the teams:
Hmm.
Jacksonville, Houston, like Detroit if they want to, Houston if they want to, the Jets if they want to, the Giants if one of them is there if they want to, Atlanta, um, Philadelphia, Baltimore if they really want to. Um, that's about it so far. I'm trying to think of any other teams, but those teams for me, I think for sure had edge at the top of their list.
Hmm.
Um, and Atlanta could do it, like just try to tank. Because I think Atlanta is just going to use Marcus Mariota this year as like a punching bag, and they're going to try to tank for next year.
I don't disagree.
Because
I'm with that. Like if like one of these guys don't drop in their lap, like I could see them taking a Kenny Pickett. I could see them taking a Malik Willis. But there's a lot of
both of
teams
them
that
are
could
going to be
definitely just
going.
go for next year.
Both of them are going to be going by 6. Like I feel like we got to start. We got to take that into consideration here.
Would you
Both of
say
them are going to be going by 6.
Would you say, and I guess we're getting back to Malik here, but this has been something even before his pro day that a lot of people have entertained the thought of Detroit even possibly taking him at 2. What do you think about that?
All
And
I
to
think is,
and to be
if
honest
you
with
ask
you,
me right now,
what's up?
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and to be honest with you, Detroit taking him at 2, it's not a bad idea because he'd be sitting behind Goff for a year, I would imagine, and
Yeah,
Goff isn't a terrible quarterback to learn behind. Like he's not that
yeah,
bad.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think right now, with his pro day, and I get it, it's just a pro day, but look at what the pro day last year did for Zach Wilson, right? Like, I've said Malik Willis is going to do this for this throw that I said Zach Wilson did last year. It's a throw where he escapes a pocket, throws a deep post across his body on his blind side or opposite side,
The weak
and he
side.
leaves it on the dime, right?
Yeah.
That's what I said like a couple months ago on that. Like it was going to get everybody, amazed and in love with him, and that's what happened.
Yeah,
So
that's the throw
I
Zach
think,
Wilson made last year. It's a throw Trevor Lawrence made. It's like kind of
yeah,
become one of those throws that like a quarterback has to make at his pro day now for the past, I want to say 3 or 4 years.
and it was like I think it was like 60 something yards, and like
65, I think.
in that like uh, measurement. But I think Detroit might get bullied into thinking or into like wanting Willis. Um, or they could be a team like the Falcons, since they have golf. It could be a team where they could just, use golf as a punching bag for another year, right?
Hmm.
But I think definitely Malik Willis is, to me, I think he's a Detroit Lion. If you had to ask me right now, I think he's a Detroit
Malik to
Lion.
Detroit and Kenny Pickett to Carolina.
Yes, yes. Like I said, like both of those quarterbacks, whether they go to the teams in the top 6 or one of them trades up, I think both of those quarterbacks go in the top 6. It happens every year.
Yeah, no, and
The
I mean,
NFL,
real quick shout out to Fisk, because he's been saying it for a while now, like almost an entire year. He's been saying it's a weak quarterback class, but they're gonna build up somebody. They're gonna hype up somebody or a
yeah,
couple of somebodies. That's exactly what happened. I still stand by that. That player being hyped up doesn't mean that it's a better quarterback class than it was before, but we're definitely gonna see. I think at least one of them be going in the top 10,
like
and probably two if I'm being honest with Willis and
like look
Pickett.
at look at the NFL right now. We don't have to get into this. Like we don't have to
And,
get into
and
that
real quick, by
situation.
the
If
way,
you,
Jake, I see you back there. I'm gonna pop you in a second, bro. Do not pop out, but go ahead there, Ash.
I was about to get into like this, and we don't have to get into that because, quite frankly, some of the stuff I read, I don't think this man deserves to play. But like the NFL has become a quarterback's league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Roger Goodell probably told Watson to go to Cleveland because he saw the chance of the ratings, or he was like, "You're never gonna play again." I say that as a joke, but like just look at the AFC, like it's filled with quarterbacks. They're gonna start pushing up these quarterbacks in the draft, doing more coverage of these quarterbacks in the draft to try to get them to the NFC because, like, it's a business. Like, it's sports, but it's also like they make money for a reason.
Oh,
They
it's a
gotta
big
improve their
business, and
ratings.
I don't know how what position you held on this, but me personally, with the Deshaun Watson situation, I'm just like, 22 accusations is a lot of
Yeah,
accusations. I feel like, listen, I feel like he hasn't been proven guilty yet, but he hasn't been proven innocent, and that's a major misunderstanding on the internet right now. If
yeah,
you're gonna read about it, he wasn't in what is the word, indicted, but that's different from
yeah,
being proven innocent. It just literally means they didn't have
yeah.
physical evidence, and with a case like this, it's near impossible to get physical evidence. So it makes sense.
My
But so that's why I'm just like, I agree with what you're saying. It's a quarterback league. It's kind of vile that it's become such a quarterback
yeah.
league that they're, he's,
You
bro,
gotta
Josh Gordon
yeah.
faced more punishment for smoking weed than Deshaun Watson for 22 allegations, bro.
Calvin Ridley is out, and these are like
For
different, but Calvin
sports,
Ridley is out
for
for a
for
year.
sports betting, bro, which
Like
is
in my
legal.
position, like at first, like I'm sure like a lot of people position was at first, like like 3 women came out, 3, 4 women came
Now,
out,
when it
like
was, I agree. When it was that, I was like, oh, this is like Zeke.
yeah,
Like Zeke was innocent.
yeah. I was like, okay, I was like, it's kind of fishy that this comes out now. We never heard about this in his whole entire career, da 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 da. But then 22 women came
Bro,
out, and I'm
do
like,
you know how much 22 is?
bro,
That's a
even in,
starting roster. That's like half a starting
for
roster.
people for people that say, "Oh, they're just getting paid," da 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 da, y'all realize like the Houston Texans isn't like like it's an NFL franchise, which is pretty expensive, but their franchise isn't as valuable as the Cowboys or the Giants or the Steelers or something like that. Like their owner does not have enough money to willingly pay 22 women to lie on Deshaun Watson's name. I really think that the owner just he knew about this, but
No, I'm
he
with you
just
there.
kept it under wraps. He
I'm
just kept
exactly
it under
with you there.
wraps.
I completely think, and call me and Ash conspiracy theories if you want, conspiracy theorists if you want, but I completely think the owner knew about it and he let it out
Yeah.
because Deshaun wanted out, and then because he let like one or two stories out, everybody came forward. I think that's exactly what happened.
Yep. Yep. And so like the moment he said, "Oh, you want out? I'm a ruin you until you come back."
Exactly.
And I think Roger Goodell saved him, but like enough on that. Just want to get my
Yeah.
piece on that.
Let me get Jake in here, bro. The first caller of the night. What's up, Jake? How you doing?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
We good, bro.
How's your night been?
It's been alright. What about you?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, so I heard you guys talk about Watson, and I heard before that, like, they offered to pay, like, all 22 of them, and only 17 agreed to it. Which, I mean, I think that's a little
Basically
weird.
hush money, bro.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think it's really weird that 17 took it, but 5 didn't. Like, if they were in it for the money, they had
Like
to.
all of them would agreed.
Yeah, they all would
Yeah.
agreed, so I just think that's a little weird. But, yeah.
That man is sick.
Listen, bro, the AFC North got a weird obsession, bro. First big rapist, and now happy ending Deshaun.
Yo, it hurts because like Deshaun was literally like the perfect ideal situation.
Bro, I was a
Giants, man.
big fan of Deshaun Watson. I was a huge fan of Deshaun. I was one of those dudes that actually believed Deshaun was better than Patrick. It's just that Patrick was in a better situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like if all that stuff, like if none of this stuff was surrounding him, I would have traded the house for him. Like I would have traded the
100%.
house.
I would have given more than 3 first-round picks.
But yeah, Jake, what's up,
I mean,
bro?
I don't think I would have took on the full $230 million contract, but
I mean, that's
the
what
Browns are doing it.
that's what got him back to Cleveland in the first place. And shout out to Den,
Yeah.
Zio, and Luan in here. But Cleveland was out the running. Like, it was tweeted out. It was confirmed they
Yeah.
were out the rain. Then they came back to the table, and they're like, we're going to give you the ultimate bag. And he was like, all right, I'm going to Cleveland.
I don't know why he wouldn't want to go there in the first place. I mean, they're set up way better.
Because Atlanta is actually close to his home, I'm pretty sure. And then with the Saints, I don't know. I guess he just liked the Saints organization or the Saints fans or something. But I know for Atlanta, it was actually close to where he's from.
Yeah, and I saw the Pitts tweet out. So, I mean, I thought he was going to Atlanta, but...
Yeah. But what's up, Jake? What you think about these quarterback pro days, or did you come in with want to talk about something else Giants related?
Nah, I was just coming to talk. So I think I watched a little bit of Willis's. He impressed, but I mean, there's always going to be a quarterback that's hyped up every year. I mean, he really almost did the exact same throw Zach Wilson did last year, and I do think his stock went up after this. I heard you guys talking about the trading back with Pittsburgh. I think if we do trade back, Lloyd will probably be gone, but I think Dean would still be there. So we could probably take a tackle with the 7th pick, and then take Dean with the 20th.
Shout out to Joseph Clark, man. But what do you think about taking 2 defenders, man? What do you think about Sauce at 7 and then still Dean at 20 or something like that?
I wouldn't hate it. I would like it. I mean, we don't have to. At the beginning of the year, I was like, we have to take 2 tackles with both picks. But I mean, as time went on, you realize that the value. It's easier to find a tackle than it is to find a lockdown corner. So I think it's more worth it to take 2 defenders with the 5th and the 7th, and then working on the offensive line for the rest.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, one thing I definitely don't want them to do is just completely ignore the O-line, because if we're gonna be honest, from all the free agent signings, I really think John Feliciano is an average offensive lineman, and an average offensive lineman is an upgrade on this line. But there's literally only 2 dudes I got faith in. It's the right guard we signed, Glowinski, and it's Thomas. So we still need to spend some sort of picks on it.
Yeah.
If we go into second round to get a tackle or get a guard, I'm fine with that as long as we just address it somehow.
Yeah, I kind of hope we trade up. I think we have a high enough second round pick that we're able to trade up back in the first round. Maybe take Zion Johnson or Kenny Green if one of them falls. Because I don't think it would cost that much. Maybe one of our third round picks too. I don't think it would cost so much to trade up back in the first.
Zion has been rising up boards, man. Ash, have you seen that? I've seen mock where this man is going in the mid first round. I'm like, whoa, he's really rised up.
It's really ridiculous. Ain't nothing against him, but I really see him as a second day guy.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. Yeah. I'm a big fan of dude, but I've even seen a mock draft where the Giants took him at 7, and I retweeted and I was like, that's not happening, bro. We're not taking. You got Kenyon Green on the board if they really, 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 really want to go inside O-line, and you'd go Zion. Come on, man.
I'd rather have Linderbaum than Green.
You got Linderbaum as well. Speaking of which, with the trade down to 20, Linderbaum is in play as well. This is something I've been saying for a minute now. Remember when Giants fans were telling us that you got to go Linderbaum top 10? He's not going to be outside of there. Centers do not go that high, man. We see it year in, year out.
He's not gonna go that high.
And now you're seeing it reflected in mock drafts and big boards as well. He's still the best center prospect in the class, no doubt. Still one of the best inside O-linemen. But he's going to be there in the teens and the 20s, in my opinion.
I wouldn't mind taking him with the 20th pick.
Definitely. I mean, people know how I feel about Linderbaum in the top 10, but I would definitely take him. If we get back to 20, I'll definitely have him on my board at 20.
If Hamilton and Gardner are still on the board at 7, who are you picking?
Hamilton and Gardner?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, it's possible.
You said at 7?
Yeah, 7.
It's tough.
I'd probably go Sauce just because. And yes, Hamilton is more than just a safety, but I feel like that lockdown corner has more of an impact than anything. Especially and it's a big if, especially if we do trade Bradbury, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what's about to happen with James Bradbury over the next couple of weeks.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm going to lean toward Hamilton because, if you had Jalen Ramsey and who's the best safety in the league right now? Who is it?
You got a couple choices,
Minka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Turan.
just say if you had a top of the league safety and a top of the league corner, I'm obviously taking the corner 10 times out of 10. But I think Kyle Hamilton is better at what he does compared to the other dudes than Sauce is at what he does compared to the other dudes. Like, and we have a, like, we have a, I'm not going to say good enough because these dudes still don't, like, I still don't know what they are, but we have bodies in that corner room, right? And with Wink's defense, like, to have somebody like Kyle Hamilton to basically play in the box and really cover everything, and have Xavier McKinney covering the back or the top, and then have Kyle Hamilton covering or blitzing, covering the tight ends, covering the running back coming out the backfield. That's more valuable to this defense than Sauce to me, right? But I wouldn't be literally it's tough for me to pick between Kyle Hamilton and Sauce. Just because I'm just going to lean towards Hamilton.
I want to address a couple comments here. So we got Duran, Hurst, Jacob, CJ Talks Movie, and Hazelnut in the chat right now. So Duran says, okay, Duran, I'll never wish a career-ending injury on somebody, but that would be crazy if that happens, man. Jacob says, I think low-key the Giants are very interested in Malik. If they draft him and our right tackle, I'm not mad. I wouldn't be mad either because I'm taking the approach, and I know Ash is doing the same thing, where it's like, yo, you know what? For this first year, I'm going to trust whatever the GM decides, and I'm going to go with their move. So if he decides, listen, this is the guy of the future, all right, then that's the guy of the future. What do you expect me to do? Root against him? I'm not going to root against him. And if they take a right tackle with it, all right, they address the line too. That's what's up. We could get a couple more defensive players in the later round, not the later rounds, but, day 2 and whatnot. But what about you two?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm going to let you go.
All right. So if he wants to take Malik, he just has to know that his job is on the line as soon as he takes him top 10.
Yeah, obviously, his job is going to be tied to Malik's performance over the next 3 to 4 years.
If he's 100% in on Malik, then I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Because I trust Sean. I mean, they took Josh Allen. They trust in him, and we also have Dable. So I know we have the guys that'll be able to prep him and get him ready for the NFL. So I would be fine with that. I wouldn't overreact to that.
I'm gonna say this though: if they take Malik, they better trade Daniel as soon as possible. Keep Tyrod as the backup / whatever bridge.
Yeah.
Because again, I think Gettleman and this whole these past regimes has cursed and really scarred Giants fans into even thinking even next year if we was in this position where a lot of people say, oh, let's wait for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or whoever, and we're in the same position, you'll still have fans thinking otherwise because Dave Gettleman has just done this to him. Man is a war criminal, bro. This dude deserves to be locked up for what he's done to this fan base. But what I say is when I say that is just imagine if you had basically a general manager with some sense and they took Daniel Jones. I honestly don't think we're having the same conversation about Daniel Jones and what we think about him because
what do you mean by a general manager with sense? Somebody that actually surrounds him with pieces to have him successful, or do you mean something else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Just think of what they did when they took Daniel Jones. One, they traded away Odell when they knew they were taking a quarterback either way. The problem isn't trading away Odell. The problem is how you replaced him. You traded up into the first round to draft DeAndre Baker when A.J. Brown was on the board.
A.J. Brown wanted to be a Giant, bro. That's the crazy part.
He literally had a Giant shirt on. So that doesn't tell me that, one, A.J. Brown, not only A.J. Brown wanted to be a Giant, but it also told me that you told him or you made it seem like you were taking him because the year before, you gave Saquon some merch, right? So that's one thing. You already set him up to fail. The second thing is the next year,
you didn't do anything for the offensive line.
Receiver. No, you didn't take a single receiver in a draft full of receivers, right? And then the next year, you didn't take a single offensive lineman. You got the receivers, but you didn't take a single offensive lineman.
I'm going to add on to what you're saying because you said it's how they replaced them. I'm going to go with it's a combination of both. because you got rid of what was at the time a top 10 receiver, and we're not going to get into the whole Odell situation, but it's a fact that at the time he was a top 10 receiver. Yes, he had a couple injury issues. And then what Ash is saying, the way that we replaced him, to this day, we haven't really replaced that production on the field. So Daniel hasn't had like a nice, good number one receiver to throw to his entire career so far. Then, like what Ash is saying, man, the next year, 0 receivers. We took some old linemen, only really one of them panned out. Shout out to Andrew Thomas. And the following year, you know, they were like, we're gonna take our chances on our current projects, but that's exactly what they were, though. They were projects at the like Matt Pert was a project.
Chances.
He was a 3rd round project. And then Shane Lemieux was a 5th round pick. No, I was just gonna say, like, Matt Pert was a 3rd round project, and Shane Lemieux was a 5th round pick. So they're both projects in my opinion. You know, you got Rashawn Slater sitting on the board. There was various other offensive linemen. They didn't take a single O lineman in 2021. That's atrocious.
Bro, like, and the thing, and I'm not gonna talk about the past any much longer, but you wanted to put faith in your projects, and you didn't play your project the whole season in Matt Pert. You didn't play him at all. Like, so I really don't understand what, and the fact that there's people really like trying to defend this man, like, it just hurts my brain still to this day. But what I'm saying about the Malik Willis thing is that, like, I think this is just me personally. Like, a lot of people think that New Orleans or Pittsburgh are like a good fit for him. I think us personally, and I'm not saying that I 100% want him. I'm saying that us personally, I think we are the best fit for him because of the coaching. Right, because we have coaches here on the offensive side of the ball that have dealt with quarterbacks like him in the past. Like, I said it once, I said it before, I say it again. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen were 2 of the biggest projects at the quarterback position in literally the past 20 years, and I could go back even further, to be honest. Like, name me like any quarterback that was labeled like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen were labeled. Like, they were good. They were labeled as 1st-round quarterbacks, but they were labeled as having problems with their mechanics, their accuracy, their footwork, this, that, and the third. And they turned out being top 5 quarterbacks, each one of them respectively, as right now, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we are the best fit for him because that's what I think he needs, or me personally, and I think he needs coaching on the offensive side with his mechanics and stuff. And I know we're not as good or as talented a team as Pittsburgh or the Saints or, you know, whoever you want to say, but I think we have out of the teams that need a quarterback right now, I think we have the best on paper because these guys are, I'm not going to assume
we're not going to make the same mistake we made 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think we have the best offensive coaching.
And I'm agree with you. I'm agree with you in part. I'm agree with you in part because I'll say coaching wise, I feel like we're one of the best fits. The reason that I say that like Pittsburgh would be a better fit is purely because, all right, he's not gonna get killed. Like, he has a better supporting cast. I could see him, even if it takes longer, I could still see him reaching that potential that he has. It's just gonna take longer than it would with, say, the Giants, right? But I agree with you. Coaching wise, you got a guy in Dayball that worked with Josh Allen directly as the host, and you got a guy in Kafka that worked directly with Mahomes as the QB coach. So it's like, and this goes back to the whole what is DJ's future thing and the whole are we taking Malik Willis, because it's like the coaching staff suits both situation. It suits taking a quarterback right now, and it suits trying to fix the issues with DJ. Like, it suits both of them.
Yeah, but that brings the question, like, why did Dable really bring in Kafka? Because, like, me personally, if you really brought in Kafka to fix DJ, like, I feel like that's a quick way to get fired. Like, as if, you know, if it doesn't go wrong. Well, same way as taking Malik Willis. So it's kind of like this.
Wait, why do you say that about Kafka, though? Like, why specifically you said if you bring in Kafka to fix DJ?
Well, just how I'm looking at it, right? I feel like they brought in Kafka to for like a rookie quarterback for their own, whether that's this year or next year, right? Like I have a hard time believing that they brought in Kafka to fix a 3-year quarterback that hasn't really shown you anything,
Here's my thing, and
right?
I'm not
So
necessarily
like,
disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to get to where you're at right now, right? Who else were they going to bring in as OC? Because one of the things that I guess I really liked about the Giants coaching search is that we got either the best person available for the position or like the second or third best. In Mike Kafka's case, he was like the second or third best because old dude Pep Hamilton went back to the Texans, right? So the next guy up was Mike Kafka. I feel like they got the best guy available.
yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't know if Mike Kafka was the best person available or the second best. I'm just, I'm just saying it as like everything I say really is like
It's
in,
just throwing another
uh,
scenario out there.
yeah, perspectives and stuff like that, scenarios, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just bringing that up as a certain scenario, and I really believe that that was the scenario. Like, I don't know if we interviewed Pep Hamilton. Did
No,
we
because
interview? I don't think we did.
before we even got to OC interviews, I'm pretty sure Pep already he was back with the Texans.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if Dable was really calling the plays, I know he said he might not, right? But I don't really buy that. Like, I feel like if he was
I think
calling
he
the
should.
plays, he could have just put, yeah. I think he just could put anybody at their OC. I think the thing and of course to us fans, the thing that stands out is that Mike Kafka worked with Patrick Mahomes. Like the fact that they both worked with big arm quarterbacks who had problems with their mechanics. I don't know. It just seems a little, trying to play in detective there. Seems a little fishy to me, but
No,
I'm
like I
not
said,
gonna make
you
it
you
bigger
you
than
putting out other
what it is.
perspectives for sure. To put another perspective, and not to seem like the leader of the Daniel Jones Brigade or anything, because by now I'm sure the channel knows that I'm just whatever with him. But with the mechanics thing, that's exactly the problem with DJ, right? At least with me, I think that's his biggest problem. Does not go through his reads, does not look good in the pocket. Still rookie year problems with these mechanics things. So it's just I think it fits both scenarios, the coaches that they brought
Yeah,
in.
definitely.
Jake, you got anything to add to this, my man?
Yeah. So honestly, I think another problem with DJ was like we got rid of the coach that drafted him a year after. Like, where's
This
the
is true. This is
stability in
about to be
that?
his third regime, technically, or third coaching regime at least.
Like, at least if we draft Willis, I mean, Dable was at least here for a guaranteed 2 years. So I
Hmm.
mean, you gotta give him time to develop. Like, why would you fire his coach after 1 year? I mean, that makes no sense. Or why would you let them draft and then fire them? That's
No,
why
I hear you. I
I
hear you
think
completely. This about DJ last year even. He wasn't Joe Judge's quarterback, and now he's not Brian Daboll's quarterback. Like he has to do a lot if he wants to stay
Yeah.
here.
I think the reason Pat Shermer got fired was because like it we we were so bad that year. Like not even a rookie quarterback could save him. Like, and I say this a similar thing about Matt Rule. Like if we won like 6 or 7 games with Daniel Jones as a rookie quarterback, Pat Shermer most likely would have stayed another year. But we finished with 4 games and Daniel Jones only won you 3 of them, and Eli Manning won you one. So
mm,
that was like a big reason, and like we had stuff about him losing the locker room, you know, players not being committed, DeAndre Baker falling asleep at meetings, stuff like that.
yeah.
It was just a bad, he was just losing it. But I mean, I agree. I felt like you should have kept Pat. I'm not saying like firing Pat Shermer was a mistake because I wanted him gone, but firing a coach after like the year after you draft him, it's like it's not really good on my end. But
Hmm. And a couple
another
other.
reason why
Oh, go
Daniel
ahead.
Jones. No, I'm just saying another reason why Daniel Jones like he hasn't really been put in a situation like a good
Mm.
situation.
Another couple comments here from the chat. Hazelnut says, if KT is on the board, I'd go in that direction. Otherwise, definitely Sauce, then Hamilton in that order. We're going to get to that in a second. Yuvraj says, draft Willis, draft some offensive linemen, sit Willis and start to Rod this year. We have $100 million next year in cap space. Go all in, and Willis will be a stud with great support next year. Going to get back to that one for sure. And let me just make sure there's Nobody else here. Isaac saying that I've been saying Willis from the jump. Samuel, what's up, man? How you doing? And I think that's it. So let's start with the Yuvraj one. The only part I would really disagree with is once again going all in free agency. How about we just spend the money wisely? Don't necessarily go all in. Like there's still quite a bit of holes that would need to be filled next year, even with the $100 million.
Yeah, I think that too. Like, I don't think we'll be big spenders in free agency, even like with the money. Like, we might get like a couple players like here and there. Like, we might get like a big linebacker or a big corner or something like that. Or I'm just throwing that position. But
Yeah.
I just say that because that's what Shane says. Like, he wants to bring in his players. He wants to develop his own players.
He wants to keep his own as well. Like we're gonna have to re-sign players next year that are coming off their rookie deals and things.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's and again, like I know he had a big part in Buffalo, but like that's not what really like Buffalo did. Like, their biggest move before the Von Miller thing was actually trading instead of like really signing a player, was trading for Stephon Diggs. So,
Yeah, and
I don't really think we're going to be big players.
I just also think we have like way too many holes to go out and make these big splashes. I think maybe like 2024, that's when we'll start to spend like a lot of money in free agency. But like we're not a team ready to make those players. Like maybe like I think it's just smarter to fill out the roster first, and then you can start getting your big players in.
So where are you guys with the Kayvon Thibodeau situation? Because this man been getting disrespected left, right, and center for like the past 3 weeks. It makes no sense to me. I don't know why all of a sudden people have this man slipping so low on draft boards, and you already know there's way too many drafts that have him being at the Giants, picking the Giants don't take him. Why is Kayvon any idea you could throw out there, Ash? Why in the world is he all of a sudden slipping?
I don't buy any of it. I feel like it's probably from teams like in like the 9 or 10 area trying to downplay him. But I mean, maybe they see something we don't. Me personally, I think Kayvon is the best player in this draft. I've been saying that,
You put him above Hamilton?
That's tough. Me personally, I like Kayvon more than I like Hamilton. I think Kayvon is the best player in this draft. Yeah, now I think about it, I think he is the best player in this draft, like definitely. Because I've been saying that even before, like, I'm an Ohio State fan, right? So watching that Michigan game was brutal for me. I wasn't really that mad because Michigan hasn't beat Ohio State in years. But it's like a lot of people, like, he got all this hype after that Ohio State game, right? But I didn't really know, like, I watch a lot of Big Ten football. I didn't really think of him as that, like, last year and even, like, at the beginning of this year, right? So, like, I've always had Kayvon as my number one edge and my number one player, right? I don't think he's going to slip. He shouldn't. It'll be criminal for
That's
him
what I'm
to
saying.
slip
He
past the top
shouldn't.
3.
The thing they're questioning, I don't know where it really came from, is like his effort, right? I'm just like, where did this narrative come from? What did he do for that to come to fruition?
It's because he said something like a while back. It was like the whole thing with Alabama, how he didn't like get to go to Alabama, and then there was this thing where he said, like, I forgot what exactly he said he would like to pursue, but I guess he was asked a question or something, and it led to him saying that he would.
I got a comment for you to respond to right now, because this comment is actually building on what I was saying with like the question of his work ethic. So this is Stern from the chat. He says Kayvon will be a bust because he's all talent, no work ethic. He isn't a man of his word. He told coaches he would do all the drills, then backed out. Also, shout out to Nate. What's up, man? Call him if you got the time. So how do you respond to that?
Who said that?
Stern.
I can't see the chat.
Stern. The account's name is Stern.
I'm not responding to that. Anyway, I'm not responding to that. Anyway, it came from, like, I guess something was asked about a career he wanted to pursue, or he would like to pursue, and he was just saying, like, hey, if I didn't, if football didn't work out, this, that, and the third, I would, like this section, and like it just build up to something, that a lot of people took and carried. But I really don't see why people think his work ethic isn't like that. Like Like, can we really understand? Like, there's a reason why a lot of people really want to go to the NFL. Like, think about how many players who've had concerns like him really pan out differently. Like, you don't see that money. You don't see that type of money in really any other job like that.
Baseball
Like, so
probably is the
there,
only
he's
comparable one.
yeah, but like I'm talking about like sports in general.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll say this. Listen, from a perspective, if you're just trying to vet out all you can about the player, you're trying to get rid of, personality concerns so you don't have a repeat of DeAndre Baker, I can see it. But I'll say this. With every player that's had injury concerns, it's not like every single one of them turned out to be a bust. And it's the same thing in the opposite direction. Not every single one of them turned out to live up to their potential. It's really been all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
like I don't get how people can say he's a bust. Like, even if you're talking about even if you're not talking about his work ethic, you're talking about his talent. Do you not see what this dude puts on the field? Like, he's literally, you could argue, really, if anybody says he's less than the third best, or if he's less than the second best edge in the class, they're smoking. They're smoking crack. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, so I'll say this. The thing, to respond to Stern's last comment is that he has a lot of talent, man. That's why he's got most of his sacks. A lot of talent, a lot of raw ability. I wouldn't just go right out there and say he's a bust, because Stern is saying if you watch 90% of his game film, his sacks were unblocked or from stunts. He isn't winning 1v1s.
That's just wrong. Like, listen, I'm all for having intelligent, well evidenced conversations, but I'm sorry, that's just incorrect. Maybe you see that and it looks that way because of just how dominant some of those wins are. I don't know if by unblocked maybe you mean they aren't getting a hand on him, but I promise you they're trying to.
Yeah.
And you can say all you want about that, and some of it is on stunts, but you cannot tell me that 90% of his wins are on stunts or unblocked. That's just not true. When you look at Kayvon Thibodeau and you look at his film, the one thing that does stand out and make him the prospect that he is his pass rush ability. He has some problems. He has a lot of other issues therein. But if there's one thing that is in no way in question, it's his pass rush ability. Let's be straight about that. I mean, come on.
And then let's see here. Miz in the chat. What's up, Miz? Amazing guy, Mike B. Mike, I would love if this is the case. He's saying Tibbs is trying to force his way to NYG. I don't think that's ever happened before. A player like willingly tank their draft stock so that they go to a team. I don't know about that one, but I would love it. I would love it. You're speaking cap, Miz. All right, Karlaftis is underrated, not overrated, bro. Stop it.
Okay.
If anything, the man is underrated because everybody I talk to him about say that he's overrated. It's kind of like the Eli Manning situation a couple years ago, where people are like he's the most overrated quarterback. I'm like, all anybody does is talk trash about the dude. How is he overrated?
No. I look at George Karlaftis, and I think when you're saying overrated, underrated, it doesn't really matter. But as a prospect, I look at him. I see a day one run defender. I see a guy with great pass rushing upside. He's a good prospect. You know, I mean, there's nothing to complain about with his game.
You want to talk about overrated? Let's talk about Trayvon Walker.
We will get there. I think you know that that's a sensitive topic for me, and that's why you're targeting that. But like when we look at George Karlaftis, I think it's easy to over or underrate him because we're talking about prospects. You know, we're going to end up doing that stuff. But with Karlaftis, he's just a really, really solid player. He's not flashy. He's not a luxury pick by any means. He's not a Thibodeau, a Hutchinson, anything like that. But it's just when you look at him as a player, he's good. That's all there is. He's good. And I know that doesn't exactly sound like the most informed take in the world, but when you boil it down, that's what it is. And God, you don't even say his name, Trayvon Walker.
So I'm gonna give you a second to gather your thoughts and cool down because I don't think Ash has gotten on to talk about the legend that is Trayvon Walker. So Ash, go ahead, bro.
Ash, have you talked about
I corrected myself. Go ahead, Ash. Talked about the legend, bro.
Bro,
the absolute stud draft prospect that is Trayvon Walker.
Listen.
Here we go.
If Trayvon Walker even reaches the top 10, there's a problem. It's a problem. Like when we talk about as a community, because I care about the Giants community as much as I troll and
Yeah.
you know.
Ash, let me pause you real quick, because Jay, can I
on
pop you
Twitter
out
and
since
stuff.
we got another caller and I'll bring him in? Thank you for
Yeah, man,
calling
that's all
in,
good.
bro.
I appreciate you having me on here.
No problem, man. Have a good one. Go ahead, Ash. Oh, wow. As soon as I said that, Manny's devices are not connected. As soon as you get your stuff connected, Manny, I'll add you.
Oof.
What it is, guys?
As
How we
much as
doing?
I troll
What's up, Manny?
I was going. As much as I like to troll and piss people off on Twitter, I care about the Giants community. I really do. When we talk about, as a community, when we talk about watching tape, can we just make sure to like that we're actually watching tape and not highlights? Can we do that?
Thank you.
Please? Because some people like
Some
Trayvon
people literally
Walker
watch a 5-minute highlight
and-
video and then say, "Oh, I watched this guy."
Yeah,
yes,
it's
Mhm.
unfortunate.
like Nate, you put out like a tweet like a while ago, and
It was
you
a while
laid
ago.
it down. And so I'm basically about to repeat what you said because you really hit it on the head.
Go ahead.
Trayvon Walker, he's big, he's strong, he's quick, but he
I wouldn't
doesn't
use the
have
word
no-
quick. I'd
how
use
can I say
straight
this?
line
He
speed.
doesn't-
No, he's quick. He's got some quickness to him.
He
He does
doesn't.
have he
He
does
doesn't
have
have-
suddenness to him for
He
sure.
does. He doesn't have finesse. He doesn't have, you know.
Yeah, the man, he doesn't have finesse for sure. He can't bend at
Have
all.
any pass rushing move.
Yeah.
He's athletic for a big
Like,
guy.
People want to talk about, and again, these positions are different, but people want to talk about Malik Willis having coaching.
Oh, God.
This dude needs absolute coaching. Like, he needs coaching. Like, I can only see him succeeding on a team like, well, let me not say that because, you know, I'm not going to go out and punish a player, but I could see him perfect for, like, in Baltimore or, like, a team that's, like,
The team
great
that I think is
defensively.
perfect for Trayvon Walker
like
is the Eagles. Because,
the Steelers.
Ugh.
like, bro,
Yeah.
with the Eagles, he will not be
I would love
immediately,
that.
he won't immediately be asked to start or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got Hassan Reddick, they got Josh Sweat, they have Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett. Like, they have a good
Hey,
pass
Ashton.
rushing group. He could stay back and develop a little bit and learn from those guys. I think that's the perfect situation for him.
Hey,
Okay,
Ashton, when you
so-
said the Raven, my bad, Nate, my bad. I just want to ask Ashton real quick, but by the way, Hub, thanks for letting me on. I just got one of your Lion King shirts, bro. They're fly as fuck. I didn't
Hey,
even know you had
thank
merch.
you.
I'm about to flug you. But yeah, no,
Supporting the
Ashton,
channel.
Ashton, when you said that the Ravens, are you meaning the Ravens with Wink as a coach or like now? Because
What is going on? I'm sorry. What are you doing over there, Ash?
He's cooking.
He's
Oh,
cooking.
I'm
he's
sorry,
cooking.
I
He's
put
cooking in the
myself on
kitchen,
mic.
heating up. Because one thing is that it's interesting because last year the Ravens drafted that dude from Penn State, Oweh,
Oweh.
who was really raw, but actually had a pretty good season considering how raw he was, and he had coached up by our new outside linebacker coach now. So, are you referring to like that coaching staff or just the
No,
Ravens, like the
no,
the
I'd say
culture they
that-
got?
I say that based off of like teams that are like they just have a tendency to be good, like on the
Culture
D-line
teams.
and the front seven, like
Right.
like Baltimore. No matter what, they've always got.
They're always going to be a good
vicious
defensive
front
team.
seven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh, the Eagles, and the Eagles. Teams that always have a good. Like I could see
The
Trayvon
Eagles
Walker
are a pretty.
putting that,
That's a good one. That is a good one.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, bro. The Eagles make
but,
so much sense.
So
They should trade up for us. Give us a
And real quick,
Yeah.
Nate, let me just read a couple of Miz's comments because
Go
Miz,
right
I'm not trying to attack you or any Trayvon Walker's fans anyway. I just think that he does not fit
I
the
will.
Giants.
Go ahead.
I do
Dom.
have a Trayvon Walker take if I can.
Oh yeah,
He's
let me just
not,
read these
bro.
comments
He's
real quick.
not.
So Miz
I'll get
says
to that, Ash.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
Miz says Walker will be a beast in a year or two. I don't necessarily disagree, which is once again with the Eagles where he could sit back for a year or two. I think he'll be fine. He says I like Walker. Didn't say he's Tibbs like great, but he could grow into a force. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I could rock with that.
Yeah. So I'll just say this real quick because see, I'm one of the guys that I do watch film, but I don't like watch the highlights. Like I have a subscription to one of these dudes on Patreon that
I
has
have
like
that
all
same
college
one.
film tape and shit too.
Same
Yeah,
one.
Yeah. Dude's a fucking bro. It's awesome.
It's
so
goated.
So me and my friend, me and my boy who I do the Breaking Tackles podcast with, Antonio, we watched his tape and then we also watched Jermaine Johnson's tape.
Oh, is that you, Breaking Tackles podcast?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
me and
I've
my
talked
boy.
to you
Go
on
check
Twitter,
him
I
out.
think.
I be seeing the clips a lot.
He's for me, between the two, I would rather take Jermaine Johnson over Trayvon Walker because for what we need, like a pure edge rusher who can play elite, on that side, I think Jermaine Johnson can be more of that dude. Whereas Trayvon, I mean, he's nice, he's sudden, he is a great athlete, and he's a good player. Bro. But I think for what we need, like we don't need another Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence. We need a guy who's going to be able to play opposite of Aziz.
I'm glad you brought up those comparisons because he's been great on the inside. Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
Right.
So first off, I didn't realize I was talking to one of the two members of the Breaking Tackles Giants podcast. I actually had a lengthy conversation with, I believe, your counterpart on Twitter about this very subject.
Your counterpart.
And your partner or whatever on Twitter about this very subject on Trayvon Walker, trading some film back and forth, giving takes, giving ideas. So in terms of Trayvon Walker, and Kush, he certainly knows how to push my buttons. He knows the things that will get me riled up, and Trayvon Walker is one of them. This will piss me off until the end of time. Trayvon Walker is the absolute peak of what someone on the New York Revival podcast, who I was just talking to, great podcast, y'all should go check that out, what he called the Underwear Olympics, which is the Combine and Pro Days. He is the peak of the ridiculousness that is the Underwear Olympics. Trayvon Walker, if we're going to talk about him as a prospect, first of all, let's get it out of the way. Freak athlete. Absolutely. He jumps out the gym, super explosive, great straight line speed, excellent power, freak athlete, 100%. The potential is there, the ceiling is high, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So all that is true. But, oh my God, and this is what I believe Ash was referring to, my original tweet, he's talented, but he's not good. He's just not good. And I 110% blame Georgia for this, and we can have a very long conversation about the X's and O's as to why this happened. But they just didn't teach him to pass rush properly. They move it around so much that he never got an opportunity to establish himself as a true edge rusher.
That's true, Nate.
Which is where he
That's
should
true.
be. And
like at one place, he was in coverage. The fuck was he doing in coverage?
No,
Playing
it's
in
not even.
space?
It's not even just that.
And shit.
He has the athleticism to do that. Like that's in his bag, honestly. That's a ceiling type position for him. But they move him around on the line so much that he never really gets an opportunity to establish himself as a 5-tech, which is where I see him being rushing in a 2-point stance. And I look at him and oh my God, it is some of the most frustrating film I have ever watched on a prospect ever. I watched 3 games of Trayvon Walker film, start to finish, every rep that he played. I watched Alabama, I watched Arkansas, and I believe it was Kentucky. 3 games, yes. Every single snap that he played, every single rush, every single run defense, and I swear to you, on everything holy, he never tried a single move besides his bull rush and the one-arm stab. Nothing. There was no chop, there was no swim, there was no spin. He didn't even try to just win with speed and get around the corner, which I think he can do physically. It is the most maddeningly stupid tape I have watched in as long as I remember. And granted, it's not stupid for Georgia, because let's remember, they're in the business of winning games, not in the business of coaching guys up for the next level. They were just using him in the most effective way they could, which, hats off to Georgia, obviously they had the best defense we've seen in years. So that's not what I have issue with here. What I have issue with is, this bothers me. What I have issue with is people looking at Trayvon Walker and seeing the athleticism and going gaga for things that aren't there. He is not a pass rusher yet. He is a guy with speed who tries to rush the passer. His power, excellent. He has already day one great power moves. His bull rush is strong, it's explosive. When you look at a bull rush and you're looking for how effective is it, how effective can it be at the next level, what you're looking for is the immediate win. As soon as you engage, as soon as you get into the tackle's chest, are you driving them back right off the rip? And he does that. When he's winning a bull rush, it's there. And that long arm stab too, which of course is playing right off of that as well. He has the length for that one arm stab to be lethal. But when it's all you do, the tackle's just going to set for it every snap, and then he's neutralized, then he's out of the game. Because he literally throws one pitch over and over and over again, the tackle is ready for it. He sets for power, he absorbs the rush, and all of a sudden, Trayvon Walker can't get within shouting distance of the quarterback. And it happens game after game after game. And people still watch this and say, this is the guy. People still watch this and say, Giants should take him at 5. Jets should take him at 4. I saw someone mock him to the Texans at 3. And I saw him
be mocked 2 overall to the Lions.
Oh my God! And I see this
I
stuff.
hope that actually. That'd be cool.
Jesus! I see this stuff, and I see people saying this, and I say, why? Why are we doing this in this year of all years with guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, who is everything you want from Trayvon Walker but better, with guys like George Karlaftis, with guys like David Ojabo
Jermaine
before the
Johnson.
injury, obviously. When you look at all of these
You want me to be real with you?
talented, we'll get there in a second. With all of these excellent, talented edge rushers, how are you getting stuck on the guy with no moves? How are you getting stuck on the pass rusher who doesn't know how to rush the passer? How is this happening?
I'm gonna agree with you. Then
on
let's
his team.
have Ash go then Manny. But I will correct, not necessarily correct. I'd probably change one thing. I'd say he's not an edge rusher as of right now, but he could be a pass rusher from the inside because that's where he's had most of his success. But when he was put out on the edge, man, he got stonewalled so many times. Ash, go ahead.
So often.
You want me to be real with you, like 100%?
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, Ash.
I would take David Ojabo before Trayvon Walker with the injury.
I don't know.
No, with the injury.
Oh, I don't know about that one, bro.
With the injury.
Spicy.
I'm not gonna lie.
Are you trading
Like,
back with
that's
that?
how much I don't. You said what?
Are you going to trade back?
No, he said
Like,
he'll
would you
take him
him
right
back?
there.
Nah,
bro.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to
I don't know
trade
about
back.
that,
I
Ash.
would
That's a
have-
little
I would
far,
have to
bro.
trade back.
Did y'all see this? Bobby Wagner to the Rams?
What?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that earlier, but I didn't know they signed him.
Thank God, because I thought he was going to
Good
go to the
Lord.
Cowboys.
The Rams? Oh my god.
That's what I just got told. A friend of mine just
Bro,
texted me.
the cap space is such a fucking fugazi. If they can afford this man with who they just gave Matt Stafford a contract. But I'll say this right now: I'd rather take Jermaine Johnson over Trayvon Walker.
Oh,
Like, yeah, like I saw a mock that had the Giants getting Ike Ekwonu and Jermaine Johnson. I'd be that's gritty status for me. I'd be stoked with that. And I think the thing is Trayvon Walker is not a bad player. I think it's just he benefited from being able to play next to Wyatt and Davis in college in Georgia. Where when Jermaine, he was on Georgia, he didn't really stand out much, but then look what happened when he went to Florida State, fucking balled. Like that he was a shining light on that team for sure.
And
Like, this is
on
worse
that
than
note,
the Greg Rousseau stuff last
oh,
year.
it's miles worse. And on that note, because you bring up Georgia, this is an important thing to address when we're talking about Trayvon Walker, because we're saying all these things and they need context. When you look at Trayvon Walker, no one is going to see a guy with his potential and just say, hey, here's an idea, let's not teach him anything. There's reasons why this happened. You can see it unfolding when you look at Georgia's defense and how they play their front seven and how they do things and how their designs work to try and confuse offensive linemen. What they do is they move around a lot pre-snap. When you have shifts and gaps from defensive linemen, the design there is to confuse offensive linemen on their gap responsibilities and who they need to be blocking in the run game, who they need to be setting for in the pass game. Georgia takes this to the next level. They shift constantly. And when you're doing that, what you need is players along your front seven who can play multiple positions. And when you have a guy like Trayvon Walker, that's perfect. You have a freak athlete who has the power to compete on the inside and the explosiveness to compete on the outside. And when you have that, and you see him as a run defender, which is where I honestly think his best ability is right now, and you look at that, it's difficult to justify with Jordan Davis and Devontae Wyatt on the inside, and then that third defensive tackle coming out next year whose name escapes me. It's difficult to justify saying, hey, let's make Nolan Smith and Trayvon Walker the focus of the defense. When you have that interior and linebackers behind that like Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, why are you going to say, hey, let's make Trayvon Walker the guy. Let's focus on him. It's just not going to end up happening. So you look at that, and you look at how they get pressure from stunts, and you look at how they get interior pressure and how they like to play contain with their edge rushers, and you say, yeah, it makes sense. It just so happens that even if it's not his fault, he still has no idea how to use his hands. He has no idea how to rush the passer effectively. And I know I can see on your face, Kush, I'm talking too much here, but that is just the context that people need from Georgia.
I need to get a super chat, and then I need to pop on Sam, who's calling in as well. Shout out to diehard Giants fan, a member for the super chat. He says, rant all you want, you're still not changing opinions. If your opinion has been set in stone for a minute, it's probably true. But I mean, hey, feel free to call in, my boy. You are a member. Feel free to call in and share that opinion with us. And let me just pop on Sam real quick. He calls in almost every week now. That's what's up, Sam. What's up, bro?
How you guys doing?
¿Cómo está, Sam?
You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think? Like, how how far can you see Ojabo falling? Because I know
So
some
far.
people still don't have him, or some people still have him in the first. But Aziz, when he had a high school ACL tear, they dropped all the way to 55.
And his
50.
heart condition or whatever.
Aziz had a heart condition.
Yeah, that was a narrative
Dang.
there was some sort of
Nay, in the weeds.
no there was a narrative that he had some sort of underlying heart condition, and it really wasn't a problem at all. But it's one of those things you get the feeling people were trying to use to twist a storyline. But anyway, it's not important. Keep going.
Oh yeah. So because he just tore his Achilles, and he probably won't play this year. Do you guys think he might slip to maybe mid-second round?
I was
that far?
I was
Farther than that.
I was thinking second round for sure. I mean, the Aziz thing definitely kind of throws a wrench in what I was thinking, because you're right. Like, it was a high school injury, and he still dropped all the way to the second. But I don't know, because maybe it's because it's a better edge class this year. I could see him dropping to the second, but not much farther than that.
I disagree. I mean,
would you
you're
guys
talking
take
about
it?
the edge class. Like, I think that's the primary reason he'll fall farther than that. Because you look at guys that are already on his tail, breathing down his neck. Like, you look at the Arnold Ebiketis of the world in this draft class, who maybe aren't in that same tier, but are also very good players who in another year might go higher. You look at that and you say, okay, now teams are thinking about who would I rather have between this guy who's healthy now and who I'll be able to get in the offseason program normally, or David Ojabo, who's probably not going to be healthy until, 4 or 5 weeks into the season, give or take. So I look at that, and you look at the rookies, right? We know from watching Kadarius Toney last year just how important it is for rookies to have offseason. It's really, really, really important for them to be there for camp, there for offseason training, there for preseason. Those are the learning moments. Those are times for those players to be on the field with their unit, getting coached up, getting faith from coaching staff. So David Ojabo, and even more so because he's a raw player who still, as his teammate Aiden Hutchinson said, doesn't really know how to play the position, even more so for him, that's going to hurt his draft stock. So people are going to say this is wrong, weird, whatever. I can see him late third, early fourth.
I think.
Yeah,
I
Manny,
can
go
see him
ahead.
going. No, I can see him. I mean, when you guys started talking and like letting him sit and stuff, the first team that popped in mind is I can see the Ravens saying, "We'll take him, we'll draft him." I don't really know much of what the Ravens need, and if they have a person, like if Ravens Twitter says that they need to draft this person at first overall, I don't know what needs they have, but because a lot of guys were injured last year, so those guys are going to come back. But I could see a team like the Ravens saying, we'll grab him and let him sit. And like we just talked about the Ravens culture, that would be perfect for Ojabo. I can see that happening for sure.
Ash, you there? What do you think about it? How far can you see him dropping?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, Ash accidentally
Good
dipped.
talk.
He accidentally dipped out of here. What about you, Sam? You asked the question. How far do you see him? Ash is back in, guys. We got him back. That was quick.
I'm back.
Oh,
I
okay.
refreshed my page on accident because I'm on my phone. But
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying, part of me wants to agree with, or is like agreeing with Nate, but also part of me like thinks like a team like the Bucks or like the Bills or some team like that's like, or the Rams or somebody like just gonna say, oh F it, I'm just gonna take this dude just because I like his upside. Like, so they'll probably sit him down and have him meet with doctors of the team or something like that. Like just like how they did with like Kenny Galladay and stuff like that.
Do you guys think? Do you think Cam Akers coming back from his Achilles in the same season? Do you think that has any teams thinking, let's just do a little more medical research on this guy?
Cam Akers is a freak, man.
I'll definitely say maybe, but that Cam Akers thing, how long was it, bro? It was like he got injured close to the beginning of the season, right?
Wild.
It was very fast, man. That was just
like in
kinda
August?
an outlier.
I'll say this. I have a little bit of a different perspective on this. I worked as an intern for my summer in a regenerative medicine clinic. So I saw a lot of this exact type of injury. And for normal people, doing normal people rehab and normal people things and normal people therapy, it takes way, way longer to be back up to full strength than it does most NFL players. And then Cam Akers took that, and he chopped off a couple of months on top of that. So that was, let's just say that's not the norm. That's an outlier.
He
But
got hurt
also,
literally at the beginning of like the training or like at the training camp or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was during the preseason, I think.
Mm-hmm.
but again, Jamo's an edge rusher, right? So we see these injuries on Cam Akers. It's a lot worse than on guys like him. Like when Bosa tore his ACL, yeah, it was bad, but because he's an edge, those guys, it doesn't affect them as much as like as a position, skill position players
The
that have to
OBJ.
make those cuts.
I put it in the oven and then I'm gonna
So
put it back in.
I don't know. I feel like
Oh,
I feel like I'd be comfortable. Hypothetically, if we got a tackle in a corner to take him in round two, I think you take the upside and look at guys like Bosa. If you think that you could coach him up to be even 80 or 70% of Bosa, you'd still have a great player. But I don't know. I think that edge rusher is a lot. Those injuries are still big, but for somebody that doesn't have to make those cuts like skilled players, I don't think it affects them as much.
Oh, you finished with your thought. It sounded like you were gonna go on a little bit more there. I mean, I definitely agree with you a little bit, and I'll say this: if we take tackle corner and Ojabo's there at what is it, 36 or 37 that we pick, we take him. I'm happy because I was looking at 36, 37 anyway as like, all right, probably BPA, man. Like if Christian Harris is there, I'd probably take Christian Harris. If we got for some reason Zion Johnson did not go in the first round to like the Bengals or something, I'll take Zion Johnson. But I'm definitely down to take David Ojabo in the second round. I feel like, let him heal up and hopefully Wink can coach him up, and that's a good addition to the edge room.
Fair. I mean,
Manny,
you
I
said
can
Christian
get with that.
Harris. Yeah, you said Christian Harris. I am a very big Christian Harris fan.
No, Christian
Great
Harris
player.
in the second would be. Ooh, it all depends on how much they value this linebacking or how much they want to tackle this linebacking group right now, because I don't know. We don't know how they feel about Tay Crowder. Like we don't know if they have an eye on a guy in the third round, like Brandon out of Penn State, Leo out of Wisconsin. Like we have no idea how they're evaluating this dude. But Christian Harris would just be amazing to get in the second round to me.
I would just say this: if you as a front office in the NFL right now intend to get a middle linebacker at any point in the near future, you should be looking to do it in this draft class. Mm-hmm. This is without question the most stacked middle linebacker class I've ever seen in my life.
Shout out to Adam in here, and then Stern. I agree with that a little bit as well. Damon Clark out of LSU, right? Like I could see him in third round as well.
I like Quay Walker. I like the Georgia dudes. Him and Quay Walker and Channing Tittle, I think is his name. I like those guys as well too. But let me ask y'all, because we're talking about tackle. We just mentioned tackles. What's your guys' take? I don't know if y'all have talked about it already. What's y'all's take on Charles Cross? I know you like him.
I think just had this conversation.
That he's underrated.
I had this exact conversation about an hour ago on New York Revival's show. I just went on there for the first time this evening, and I just had this exact conversation. And I'll say a summation basically of what I said over there. It is frustrating to me that I'm gonna once again end up banging the table for someone I'm not that super ridiculously high on. Like I like him, but he's not my favorite player in this draft class. But I'm still, to the end of draft day, gonna end up defending him like he is my favorite player in the class, because he's getting way too much hate at this point. The dude is a solid pass blocker. His run game, it's not Ike Mekwonu, but almost no one's is. We're looking at guys like Ike Mekwonu, who is an absolute road grader, who is one of the better run-blocking linemen to come out in the last however many years. And we're comparing that to a guy who's in a system where you have, 4, maybe 5 traditional run plays per game? Like, at most. Everything they do on the ground is either an option, a screen, or every once in a blue moon an inside zone. They just don't run traditional schemes. And he doesn't, you're going to say, oh, he hasn't put on tape that he can run block well. He hasn't played in a run blocking scheme. Like, come on.
I'll say this about Charles Cross, because a very similar take to Nate. It's not like I view him as the best tackle or anything, but I remember, like a month ago when like people just kind of started falling off the Charles Cross train. Back when we were still having a legit conversation of, there's 3 tackles in this class that you need to take, and here's the 3. It's Neal, it's Akeem, it's Cross. For some reason, about a month ago, like Cross started being separated from the 2, Like Akeem is like the freak of nature, the dude that shouldn't exist was created in the lab. And then Neal's like the best tackle out of Alabama with all of your mechanics that you want and whatnot. But he also has high potential, like Akeem.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. Neal is a freak of nature too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Neal is the freak of nature.
I would say Akeem a little bit more, but Neal, that 300 looking like he was like 250 was crazy. That
I was gonna say, Kush, I
think
think Akeem's the best old lineman in the draft.
That's a whole other.
I'm with you there, by the way. Akeem's my number one.
Like
tackle.
I think like the way he looks, he doesn't look like an old lineman. I get Neal doesn't either, but he looks like he's he has a body of a linebacker.
Mm-hmm. Let me just say, I agree that Ekem is probably the best offensive tackle in this class in terms of like as a prospect, but Evan Neal is the freak of nature. Like you don't get freakier in terms of an offensive lineman than Evan Neal.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue against it.
That's true.
Getting back to my point though, like Cross, in my opinion, for no good reason, was kind of being separated from them because he's right up there with them. I have him as my third O tackle in the class, but it became to a point where it's like saying Charles Cross, John should take Charles Cross at 5 and 7. Like you'd get backlash for it, and I didn't understand it because he is one of the best tackles in this class. There is a drop off from Charles Cross to Trevor Penning, if that's your fourth tackle, or to Bernard Raymond, if that's your fourth tackle. There is a major drop-off there, in my opinion. He is one, if you don't want to consider him, the best, one of the best pass blocking tackles in the class. Now, the legitimate criticisms that some people have had, and the reason I call it legitimate is because I don't think transitioning from left tackle to right tackle is as easy as a lot of fans will make it seem. But we'll see, man. We'll see, because the Giants are definitely evaluating that, right? It's not like if they're interested in Cross, which a lot of news came out today that they are interested in Cross, that they love his pro day. If they're interested in him, I'm sure they've done their own research. I'm sure Bobby Johnson has even gone and looked at if he can make the transition to right tackle. And if he can't, here's the thing, right? If he can't, it's not crazy if they move Thomas to right tackle and they have Cross have played left tackle, man.
I was about to ask you guys about that, because to me, everyone getting about that, like, does it really matter where Thomas plays as long as he's still, like, I think, do any of you guys think he can't go to the right tackle side?
I think he could be fine. I think he could be fine.
I think all of us, and I feel like all of us and a lot of people on Giants Twitter are, at this point, educated fans. Like, we all know for the most part,
let's not overestimate the fan base here.
I'm just not trying to get burnt, but I'll just say that I don't think that I feel like maybe the people I talk with, the spaces I'm in, the groups I'm in, the people the channels I get on, everyone's an educated fan. So I would like to think people think Andrew Thomas can go on the right side and not have an issue. I don't see what the problem is with having that situation with Cross, and also, I mean, Cross has also mentioned that he's been practicing on the right side since the offseason started for them. So there's something there.
Everybody knows that, like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna call my own bluff here. Like, everybody knows I wasn't the biggest fan of Cross, right? That was a big thing a couple of while ago.
Yeah,
there were screaming matches had.
Right.
On this very show.
Cross and Sarcophagus. Those are the two players I was like, no. But my biggest takeaway from like not wanting Cross was what Hub said, was like people being concerned with how he could move to the right side, because any of these tackles, I assume, would be moved to the right side. Me personally, I would want Andrew Thomas to stick on that left side. I mean, I'd be fine with him going on the right side. I'd just be a little bit nervous. Yeah. Maybe it's better for him. Maybe it's better for Thomas to be on the right side. But that was my biggest criticism of Cross until today, because like I said, I really put that much faith into Shane and these guys, because I feel like they know a damn what they're talking about. Yeah. And if they're impressed with how he can move to the right side, then I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, no, and then real quick, Nate. Alex, I would agree with you there a little bit as well. Just like what Ashton was saying. If Thomas, I mean, I'm the biggest Andrew Thomas fan you could probably find. I would love for him to stay on the left side. Sam, thank you for calling in. I'm gonna pop you out because we got another call here, AC, and we're about to go for, I want to say, maybe 15 more minutes. So, hey, bro, thank you so much, man.
And I have a good one, guys.
Yeah, Adam, what's up, man? Go ahead.
Sir.
You could go ahead, Nate. Then Adam could come in whenever.
Hey guys, how are you?
How's it going, bro?
Adam.
I'm good. I love what you guys are talking about, man. But I'll be honest with you. Put Cross at the right side. Leave Andrew Thomas on the left. He's already established himself there. Why take him away when he's already ascending? You're going to take a player away who's doing well to then put him on the right side, to then have him struggle, to then learn another position, which he probably can do. But if you do Cross right out the gate, let's say it is Cross. I think if they get a tackle, you take Cross, whatever, fine. If he's your top-rated tackle, one of the three, and the other two are gone, you take the guy and don't worry about it if he's an all-pro, right? You put him in on the right side from day one, and I don't mean to cut you off, Nate.
No, keep going. You're saying exactly what I was going to say.
You put Cross right on the right side from day one, and you let the best five win the job. If Andrew Thomas, who we all agree is doing well on the left side, why would I then say, you know what, guys, let's switch you on the right side with this kid? Just because Cross, who hasn't played a down in the NFL, looks better at left. No, you bring him in here and you say, listen, we're going to teach you. I'm Bobby Johnson. And by the way, all good left tackles start on the right side. So why don't we just start them on the right side anyways? And then if God forbid, Andrew Thomas gets nicked up, you can then move Cross and try him at the left side if you want to move guys around. But for me,
now Adam, I just want to say I'm completely with you. I'm just not opposed to the idea if they do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I could see it working.
Yeah,
no,
like
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying,
for me, as long as the best units out there.
It's just about
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. It's just, to me, it's about exactly what you're saying. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm looking at Andrew Thomas, and we haven't had a left tackle that is playing at his level in so long, and we finally do. And yeah, I guess you can make the argument that we're trying to get two starting tackles that can play that high level. But if we already have one of them, why are we fucking with that? You know, we have Andrew Thomas there. He's playing. I struggle to say all pro level, but certainly getting close.
He's literally the best left tackle in the league.
Well,
he's getting there, surely. And
when he was out of the lineup, they scored less points.
Yeah, and I don't understand how we can look at that and say that we have a left tackle in Andrew Thomas that we haven't had in as long as I can remember, basically, and then say, yeah, let's move him to right. It doesn't make sense. Let
me get this super chat. And shout out to Floyd Samuels. I didn't even know Floyd was in the chat. He'd be somebody on Twitter.
By the way, before you get that super chat, my computer is about to die, and I have been talking for about 3 hours, so I'm going to head out.
For sure, man. Have a good one. I know you're recovering.
Hey, it was nice meeting you, bro.
Have a good one,
nice
bro.
Meeting you.
Always good talking with you, Nate.
As Nate pops out, diehard Giants fan, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, mad respect, Hub. Love what you do, sharing the love to the unheard voices, including Nate. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Definitely anybody, the link was pinned for like basically majority of the stream. Anybody could call in, and I'll try to get your opinions out there to the world. Adam, go ahead. I'm sure you probably had something else you want to say.
Oh, I'm just saying, for me, you know, the Giants are in a good position because it doesn't matter which one of these tackles they get. But the thing is, like Nate was saying, I don't want to move a guy, and I agree with you, Hub. If you think that it'll benefit the line to put Andrew on the right side, then you do it. I just, to me, am worried about doing that because he's doing so well already at one position that I don't want to just mess it up and now put him on the right side. Now, remember, he was supposed to play the right side coming in, and then Nate Solder came back and they moved him to I forgot who they.
Cam Fleming. I think Cam Fleming was the right tackle Thomas's rookie year, right? I could be wrong.
Right. They were going to be the right tackle, and then Nate Solder didn't come back. Remember, Nate Solder was supposed to be on the left side, Cam Fleming on the right. They were going to move him. Nate Solder doesn't come back, and so he had to start on the left. But they were going to start him on the right side. So I see what you're saying, but to me, I just want the top five to play.
I just want to clarify. I'm completely with you there, man. I say it as a joke, but like I fully believe Andrew Thomas could be one of the best left tackles in the league. Just give him time.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I think
Manny.
he's already there. I think he's already there as one of the younger, better ones right now, as far as, you know, especially in the NFC, on the NFC side of it. But I think, like you said, and also too, if he can't play the right side, why the hell is he being drafted 5 overall? You know, 5 overall, you should be able to learn both of those sides and be stout there. And then when you see him, like I'm watching a little bit of tape right now of him. He's not like he's not.
Wait, are we talking Cross or Andrew right now?
Cross.
Okay.
He's not bad
Cross,
in the run game, and this is 21 against Alabama. He's not bad in the run game, but obviously you do see that there is a difference when it comes to in pass protection for sure. But I think that'd be a good idea. And remember, the good thing about our right tackle, whoever he will be, is that they will be getting to be able to play next to a proven, solid, not world pro, but solid guard in Glowinski, a guy who's played next to an elite right tackle in Smith from the Colts. So at least you got your right tackle being able to learn.
Oh yeah, that's a
next to
great
pro
point,
as
man. He
opposed
could
to-
lean on him a little
Yeah.
bit.
Right.
Exactly. Like that's why I love the signings of our boy Feliciano
I wanted-
too, because he helps with the.
I was
when
about
he
to
helps
ask
on
that,
the
Manny.
side too.
Manny, so I'm gonna let you go first, then I'll get Adam, then I'll get Ash on this. How do you guys feel about Feliciano playing center? Because I wanted him to play guard because Thomas would really benefit from him playing guard. I don't know who we have at left guard right now. Maybe it's Shane Lemieux. Maybe we draft somebody. But like, would you have preferred that Feliciano actually play guard for us, or you're fine with him being a center for now? So let me get Manny, then Adam, then Ash.
So yeah, I was kind of assuming he would play guard as well. I remember there being center flexibility, but I didn't have really I thought it was going to be guard. I thought that's where he would have played. But I remember when you were doing these mock drafts and thinking about who's going to be on our team, I remember there still being a big question, like who's going to be the center, because we love Nick Gates.
He's gone for like 2 years, man.
It's tough to even say he might be on his team next year. It's really tough. So that was worrisome. But so when they signed him and made him as center, and then you look at his his stats at center, I think he had 3 games in 2020. And shout out Justin Pennick from Talking Giants posting this. But in 2020, I think he had 3 games at center where he didn't let a pressure or a sack. And also, I mean, he's a dude that from his days in Miami has played every single side of the offensive line, tackle, guard, center. He's played it all. And from Miami and then in the NFL, he's done interior. So I like it. And also because I think this helps if the Giants do draft. Like I just mentioned, Glowinski helping that right tackle. Well, now Feliciano is going to be able to help that rookie guard while that guard's playing next to Andrew Thomas. Like this is way, like if anything, this stabilizes the offensive line again. And then, hey, guess what? Something happens, weird situation. Tyler Linderbaum is there in the second round. Draft him and then put Feliciano in guard.
Oh my God, Stern just put it in the chat. Can you imagine if our offensive line next year is Thomas, Feliciano, Linderbaum, Glowinski, and like Neal? Oh my, bro, I don't even know how
I didn't even read that, but that would be awesome.
Go ahead, Adam.
Listen, I thought it was interesting because I didn't know that he was a center, but he said that that's his best position. So why not give it a shot? That gives you more versatility up and down the line. You have Shane Lemieux, who could right now pencil in as your left guard for now. He has played that position. Doesn't mean you won't upgrade in the draft. And so to me, I like it because like I said, it's scheme versatility. He's going to know both guard position and now the center position. If you draft a guy like Manny said, you could maybe move him over if Shane Lemieux is not up to par or you don't get the left guard that you want. Maybe you kick him down and then you use the rookie. But I want him to be like Nick Gates, a little nasty. I hear he's a little nasty kind of a guy, kind of a bullish guy. That's what you need your center to be. So let's give it a chance. Let's see what he can do. And it's only a 1-year deal, and we'll see what happens.
And Ash, man, what you think about it?
Listen, man, I want him to play guard, but I know we need a center more than we need a guard. So, but I'm tired of us like just leaving Andrew Thomas out there on the island, like with no hope at all. Like I would want some of the pressure to be lifted off of Andrew Thomas, but
let's get the tight end.
And if they draft a decent guard, then like a Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, like, I would really prefer if Feliciano plays guard. Like, that's the whole reason I brought up the question. But if Zion lasts to the second round, because I think he really might go to either the Cowboys or the Bengals in the late first. Kenyon Green, I mean, I've seen him drop into the second as well. Like, if one of those guys are there, that would be great. But another one that people aren't considering is if in the third round, Alec Lindstrom is still there with our first third-round pick. I think we should take him. And he should go center.
But there you go. So now you have Feliciano being the center to groom him and get him the calls. Now, let's say Lindstrom starts to play well and gets the offense quicker. Then you can kick him to guard if you need to. But like I said before, let the best 5 play. Yeah. So if you put Feliciano in there and, Lindstrom comes in and outplays him because he's a natural center, then and you think Feliciano is the best left guard you got in the roster, just put him there. And just let the best 5 play. I think that's what this regime has done. They've brought in 5 guys whether they're going to be backup or spot starters. And now you have 10 guys on the roster right now that can be your backups or have some starting experience. And then all you need right now is your right tackle. If you look at it across the board, you have what? Thomas, your left guard is probably still open, but I'm a pencil in Shane Lemieux right now. You've got Feliciano, you've got Glowinski. All you're going to need is your right tackle. And then you in the third round, you can draft Lindstrom as depth plus a possible starter down the road. So it works out in many ways. It's very smart philosophy what they're doing.
Anything to add?
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. I can't disagree with that. Adam be speaking facts as always.
Adam, you got any other question or thoughts to add? I mean, as you saw when you first tuned in, there's Malik Willis on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Draft day trades. Go ahead, man.
I think I watched both the pro days, Pickett and Malik, and I have to tell you, Malik did impress me a little bit. His arm talent is there clearly. I think he did a lot this pro day, even though it is a pro day. I think he did a lot to cement himself to be probably in the top 10. And I think Carolina and Atlanta will probably be a hot spot for that quarterback. He does everything you need to do. That one throw where he rolls out, does a little juke, spins around, and throws like a 70-yard bomb to the corner of the end zone. Basically, put him in the top 10. That's
been like I was telling Ash earlier. That's been like the throw for pro days for quarterbacks in like
Zach
the past
Wilson
3-4 years. Yeah,
didn't Zach Wilson do that last year or something like that? So. If he could do that throw, and this is the thing I have about Malik Willis, and I'm sorry I'm going on this little rant about it. If you can develop him, why not bring him in to a team that has one of these booty quarterbacks like a Trubisky or whatever like Mariota, for example.
Do you want to say Giants? Like, I don't know. Don't feel afraid to say Giants if you want to say Giants.
Fine. Why wouldn't you bring him into New York if you wanted to? If you fell in love with this guy, they love him. I mean, I also like Carroll. I like what Carroll can do, but what we're talking about Malik Willis here.
His pro days tomorrow.
Yeah. Carroll's going to be very good. He's got a great arm. He's got a great zip on the ball. He's got laser beams when he throws, but we'll see what happens. And he rushed 30 times in a game, which Dabo loves. But let me get back to Malik real quick. If you love the guy and think he's going to be a fit in your offense, you've got to evaluate the quarterback from when he was coming into the NFL and not now. A lot of people get caught up in like, well, Daniel Jones has been in the league 3 years. Yeah, but how good was Daniel Jones when he was coming out in NFL draft circles? If Malik Willis is better than Daniel Jones when he was coming out, then you draft that guy. Because guess what? He'll be able to sit and he'll be able to build behind a quarterback guru like Brian Dable, and he doesn't have any pressure to start because he has Daniel Jones in front of him and Tyrod Taylor next year. Now, obviously, you're going to want to start the kid. You draft him at 5 or 7. But my point is, if you wanted to do that, that would be an option you could take, all right? And plus, the quarterback market is hot. I don't think anybody wants Daniel Jones, but I'm sure there's some sucker out there that you can get to trade for Daniel Jones if you wanted to. All I'm saying is, if a team – Giant fans be excited because Malik Willis might have just got yourselves your first round pick next year. Because
I was about to say that, yeah. Like even if we don't take him, both of these pro days really just made our 2 first round picks better commodities to trade down.
Exactly. So I'm excited. I want to see what Carroll does because the more quarterbacks that do well, the better it is for the Giants in terms of what they want to do. We know they're not going to take a quarterback. I think they should. If Carroll by some hook or by crook would fall to 36, I would consider him there because there's no pressure at that point. He's not a first round pick. He's a second round pick. You can do whatever you want with him. And if he happens to outshine your quarterback, well, there you go. If he doesn't, you're in the market for a quarterback next year. What's the big deal?
Man, you got anything to say to that before I read what's probably going to be the last question of tonight from the chat?
Yeah, I like Malik Willis a lot. I think he's real special. And I'm on the fan base. Like I'm tagged in a lot of like Malik Willis appreciation posts. All are awesome. I'm kind of on the fence because if he gets drafted, I'd be excited because that means that he's going to be able to get the chance to develop and be with the coaching staff and I know it's not the same GM and the same coach, but those guys were in the building when Josh Allen was drafted, so. It'd be exciting for them to have that type of confidence to say we just drafted a dude who's going to either give us extensions or have us lose our jobs. It'd be exciting, but then I'd be happy if they decided to, if we drafted Kayvon or a Neal, whoever's there at 5 or 7, or if we traded back, or if these guys pro days help that. So I'd be happy either way. I think we're in a win-win because first off, we're not dealing with 1979 BS anymore. We finally have GMs in the front office from this day. So
Yeah.
I'm excited either way.
And shout out to Hazelnut. They've been putting this in the chat for a minute now. They like Nebraska center Cam Jurgens. I'm gonna have to look into that particular prospect. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna stand
Athletic
up here
hell.
and pretend like I know him. But Manny, if you got a couple things to say about him, go ahead, man.
Only thing I'm gonna say, I've never seen him play. Don't know. I mean, I know Nebraska, they have up and down games, but their season's always not very good. But I'll just say, I know we just talked about the combine not being anything, but I mean, he was athletic as hell in the combine, like super athletic, and was looked as like a depth guy who could be a project safety guard. So.
And I will be live draft night, Hazelnut. And then the last question of the night, guys, from Hate Sam. He says, Hub, one more question. Would I trade out of 5 to 8 with Atlanta, but it cost me a tackle if I'd cost me a tackle? Hold up. Wouldn't I be able to get a tackle at 7? Because if I'm trading
he's meaning
back
if
with
we
Atlanta,
if we trade out, that means we're probably not going to get that tackle because like Carolina would draft him.
No, I think Carolina's drafting a QB, man. I really do.
The thing is like, what if the QB that gets traded up for at 5 is who Carolina would have drafted, and they're not going to go and draft anyone else?
Then in that case, right, it would all depend on the trade compensation. Obviously, you're a team. You're sitting at 5. They plan for worst case scenario, but I don't think they know that they're going to lose the tackle, right? But it would depend on compensation, I guess, from 5 to 8. What do you guys think? For me, it would just depend on compensation. Maybe I trade back up into the first round and just take Trevor Penning or something, or I take Bernard Raymond in the second round. I don't know.
Well, if you're going to trade down, it's about the haul I'm getting, and like you said, there are a couple tackles here that I could still pick up in the later rounds. We tend to get caught up in. Well, you said we trade 5 to 8, right? So that means I have 7 and 8 now as my picks. So at that point, if Cross is there, you can pick Cross and whoever you want. Jermaine Johnson at that point, I'm taking him too. I'm taking a serious look at Jermaine Johnson at 8. So if I can get Cross and Jermaine Johnson, man, I'm running to the podium.
That's what I was saying. I think Cross will be there, but in this situation, I guess he isn't.
So yeah, if he's not there, then I guess you don't reach for the tackle. You just take the best player available at that point. You say, okay, I lost my guy. I'll take Jermaine Johnson and somebody else at 8. That's there, maybe let's say Sauce Gardner, or maybe they want Derek Stingley or something like that, and then boom, at my second pick at 36, I'll get the best offensive lineman at that point.
Ash, what do you think about that? Would you trade from 5 to 8 if it means you miss out on the tackle? I think you'd probably say yes, because you're definitely somebody that loves the 2 defensive options, right? Now I'm not even saying that as a joke.
Yeah,
it's just like he likes the 2 defensive options.
Great.
Yeah, I would, to be honest. It depends on what we're getting. Like, if we're just getting like 1 extra first round pick, I mean, it's always good to have 2 first round picks. So, I mean, I guess, but it depends on what tackle that is and if they really love them. Like, if it's Evan Neal, I don't know about that. If you were missing out on like Charles Cross or King, I don't know.
You would miss out on a King?
I mean, I don't know. It just depends on how you'll replace it,
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't. Like I said, it depends on what tackle's going to be there,
Yeah.
But I would, cause say if a guy if all the tackles are gone, right? That means that one of those dudes, either Kyle Hamilton or Kayvon Thibodeau, is going to be there, or probably somebody else, So I wouldn't be upset.
Mm-hmm. And then Manny, I'm not sure if you got to spoke on it.
I kind of agree with everyone here. Ash and AC said it right. I would probably go. It would depend on the compensation. If we're getting especially some picks in this year's draft class because it's so stacked, I would definitely, it'd be hard if it's like an Icky or a Kayvon or a Neal that's there. It really would be tough to trade out of that. But if those guys are off the boards, I'm definitely, if 2 of those guys are there, but it's like a really nice haul, that'd be nice. And I mean, as far as, guys that you can get in the second, third rounds, I mean, Daniel Faalele is a dude I like a lot. You know, I think he'd be a great addition to a right tackle. You know, Abraham Lucas from Washington State in the 3rd round would be a nice piece as well. So, I mean, definitely, you know, especially because of how good this class is, if there's extra picks in this class, and I think if there's at least if they're trying to throw in 2 first rounders, like next year's as well, and the year after that, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and guys, that would be it for this week's podcast. I want to give a big shout out to everybody in here, man. Everybody in the chat, you guys been amazing tonight, asking some real good questions. We got 80 people in here. Hit that like button, try to get the likes up to around 80. Shout out to Ash. He's been here the entire stream. You might need to refresh the stream, but his link is in the description down below. Like I said, I had to add it after the stream started, so if you tune in, you might have to just refresh it. But his link is down below. He was kind of like my co-host tonight. Big shout out to Manny. He was on here a couple weeks ago, called the John Feliciano. Both, you know, getting cut from the Bills, or released from the Bills, I guess you should say, and then us signing him. He also does the Breaking Tackles podcast. Make sure you check out him as well. And then Adam has his own thing going on in his channel. So you guys feel free to plug it right now before we go over.
Yeah,
great plugs, man.
I was gonna say the Hurry Up is on my channel. It's just a quick rundown and recap of free agency or what's going on in the NFL. And if you like listening to some rants, sometimes I rant on a Monday if we lose. So tune into those.
Also, I wanna say something about what Adam does real quick. So him, Zion, Zenith, and Mac, the Giants fan, they do like a podcast type show called Premium Takes, and they basically talk about literally everything sports, even including like WWE and stuff. And it's really, really good. You know, I enjoy watching it.
Thank you.
They like rotate channels and stuff. You know, I'm all about showing, you know, other channels love, no matter how big, you know, how small. So it's really, they put out some great stuff. So you guys go check out those 3. I know Zion and Mac aren't here, but
yeah.
I should
Hey,
plug
man,
that.
I'm still trying to get on Premium Takes to talk some WWE.
You're more than welcome to come on Premium Takes, my man. Anytime. You let me know.
You got to swing me the invite and link, my boy.
I will swing you the invite and link on Sunday. You can come on and talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. We talk NBA, we talk wrestling, we talk about whatever sports topics go down.
Well, it depends what time on Sunday, because this is going to be my plug now. Every Sunday moving forward at 8:30, I'm going to be having the live mock draft stream.
Oh no, we'll fit you in, man. Don't you worry. We'll get you. You will be a premium guest on Premium Takes, man. It's just a show that we have fun, you know, like you would chop it up at the barbershop and stuff like that. But Hub, thanks for having me on, Manny. It was good talking to you. Ash, always good to chat with you. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Manny, anything to say about the Breaking Tackles podcast before we go off on here?
Yeah, me and my boy Antonio Reyes do Breaking Tackles podcast. As a podcast he started doing it by his own, and then I came in. Now we co-hosted together. Have a show about once a week. We're about to be on Spotify this week, and also wrote an article for Film Talk Football website. You know, go check that out, and check out everyone else's page on here. Ash, Fish, appreciate you guys for having me on, and man, appreciate your content, bro, because both of you guys are ballers. So appreciate y'all.
Thank you, man. Like I said, big shout out to the chat, the viewers. Without you guys, this is not possible. Tune in next week for the next call-in show. Tune in tomorrow right here on this channel, 9:30 for the Young Guns podcast. And like I said earlier, Sunday at 8:30 will be a live mock draft stream. That's it for now. I'm out.